Welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse. Hello, I'm T.A. Newman and I'll be your host and keeper. Tonight we welcome you to Mr. Whisper, the matinee performance in celebration of Cthulhu by Gaslight. And our guests are Mike Mason as Dr. John Watson, Scott Dorward as Sherlock Holmes, and Mike Percival Maxwell as Dr. Bainbridge. But first, a reminder that the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game contains mature themes, cosmic horror, and loss of sanity. Please check the show notes for further content warnings related to each individual episode. But now it's time to pull back the curtain and roll the dice. Lord Richard Fowler, Chelsea Flowers, Dr. Elliot Shaw, and Miss Vesper Wodehouse. When you arrive one by one, you're all met by a young keeper who's on the side gate, not the main entrance to the zoo, Londinium Zoo, but on the side gate. You all know which way to go in. You've been here before. You've met Holmes individually. Here, it's a trade of information. It just appears at night that this is, well, a little bit spooky, shall we say. And each of you speaks to the young gentleman in your turn, who kind of doffs his hat. You're able to pass on that you're a friend of Mr. H. He opens up the gate for you and lets you in. There is nobody else in the zoo but you, walking through the different areas where you have lions, you have monkeys, you have bears, you have aviaries full of birds, you have penguins, you have giraffes. They all make the noises they would make during the day, but somehow, for some reason, when they do make noises here during the night, it is just terrifying to hear these animals in the night. You all find yourself walking into the reptile house, and Lord Fowler, as you come in, you see that there is a relatively sharply, not the same as you, dressed gentleman carrying a rather significant leather bag. Miss Wodehouse, as you come in, you see these two gentlemen, but then lastly you see this young lady who is wearing clothes that she is making look as good as they can. Walk in, and the four of you realize that a significant individual is missing from the reptile house. The individual who said this is where you would meet.
We see each other.
You do.
So I think Fowler sort of naturally assumes he needs to take charge and might still be running off the adrenaline of earlier, and as a result, he say, you three look very interesting, but none of you are home.
You're here to meet Holmes as well, yes?
Quite.
Yes. So allow me to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Shaw. And you are?
Dr. Shaw, Lord Richard Fowler. Now, I recognize you. You're the flower girl.
That's right, your lordship. I sell flowers in Chelsea. You might remember me as Chelsea Flowers, sir. You've got a very good memory, sir.
I always thought that Holmes had a use for you. Yes. But, madam, I'm afraid I have not had the pleasure.
Good evening, sir. My name is Miss Wodehouse, Vesper Wodehouse. I know Chelsea, of course. We do some business together, but the rest of you, I'm sorry. I have not had the pleasure.
Wodehouse. The Undertakers.
Indeed, sir.
I knew
near
your
Waterloo
father.
Station. You did? Ah. How did you know him, sir?
I used his services, and his eyes gaze off to the side, and he just falls into a mumble.
I see. I shall pass on my best regards to him next time I see him. He is no longer in London. He's retired. But I shall tell him I met you.
And yet, no Holmes.
Ah, I was here to meet Mr. Holmes as well. This is wholly unlike him to be late to an appointment.
As
Sometimes
you
he's
say
in
that,
disguise.
as you say, being late to an appointment with Holmes, some of the internal doors to the reptile house just like burst open as if someone's come through them with an incredible force. And you all see before you this panicked individual, incredibly well dressed, but not necessarily of the London Victorian culture. They look like a foreigner. It's hard to pin down. You see some wonderful blue and green shimmering colors. You see that this gentleman is wearing some makeup as well. But it's hard to identify exactly where this person's from, unless you'd like to offer a role of some sort. Anybody. You don't have to.
Oh, I have a 40 in natural world?
I
Not
think
quite.
I don't see why not. The natural world doesn't necessarily just focus on the geographical or animal kingdom. It is the world we live in.
Well, the matter is irrelevant as I rolled a 79 versus 40, so I no doubt think he's some kind of foreigner.
I see. He is some kind of foreigner. And as he comes through, you can see that he kind of sees you all sweating. He is covered in blood, and he is holding a knife. This knife is again looking like it's forged through foreign means. It's a curved blade, and he's not threatening anybody with the knife, but he's standing there covered in blood with the knife. Help! Help! I can't. And he holds up his hand in front of you, and he is wearing he's wearing a ring on his little finger. The reason it catches your eye is because as he holds up his hand, he puts the blade behind his little finger. I can't. The whispers. And he twists the knife and he turns it to the point where you hear it, not just kind of going through the flesh, but going through the bone to the point where the finger just drops to the floor, and blood just starts pouring from his hand. Can I ask just does anybody do anything?
Chelsea is immediately. He says, "Help! This is London." Chelsea steps forward and goes, "All right. Just careful with that knife. What's happened? What's going on? You can talk to us. No judgment here, mate." And she'd almost tried to do. She was going to try and reassure the gentleman that he was among friends, but then she sees the knife come out and she kind of like takes a step back.
Anybody else?
Fowler's going to step right back. He's going to actually effectively place himself away from the knife where possible. His cane's going to just come in front of him and just lightly come off the ground. And he's going to continue watching matters unfold quite carefully.
Vesper's going to take several very quick steps back, away from the person with the knife.
Yeah, so Dr. Shaw would probably take a few steps forward towards the man with the knife, and when he said he needed help and he's covered in blood, he distinctly sort of move forward, but then seeing that he might be threatening, sort of hovers back a little bit.
He has that knife now covered in his own blood as well. You can see blood dripping from his hand, his finger, and the ring lying on the floor. And he just looks at you one by one, the gentlemen rather than the ladies. Holmes? Holmes?
He's not here. We're looking for him too. Look, Could you just please put the knife down? Put the knife down.
He's like holding his head and kind of almost screaming, and the blood from the missing finger starts to stream down his face now. No! I need Holmes! And he just kind of turns, he throws the knife on the floor, and he turns and he just runs back out of those doors before you can get near him, anything, and he just runs screaming off back into the zoo and into the night.
Chelsea bends down and scoops up that finger with a ring on it.
We should call constables.
The man needs help. We need to... Yes, call the constables. We need to get an ambulance.
Behind you is the young boy who let you into the zoo. What was that?
Go run. Go find a police officer. There must be one on his patrol somewhere near here.
Yeah, I've got a message for you.
Well, spit it out, boy.
Mr. Holmes. They say he's in the crazy house. They say he's in Holloway Sanatorium.
What? Who says this?
He holds up a little piece of paper he's got. Dr. Watson.
Sanatorium, you say? I'm going to call out to Smithers and send him on one of the horses towards the sanatorium, and then invite the rest of the group to climb into the carriage.
Chelsea, as the carriage is moving, you open that handkerchief or whatever it is that you used, and you look down and you can see, you haven't mentioned it to the others, but you can see that ring still on that finger has some rather unusual symbols on it. Lord Richard Fowler, Chelsea Flowers, Dr. Elliot Shaw, and Miss Vesper Wodehouse. You are in the carriage, and it's just arrived. It's just pulled up outside Holloway Sanatorium, and you see within the city this large, overwhelming building. It is rather intimidating. It is commonly known, Chelsea, among your peers, as a madhouse. Sherlock is somewhere inside. Watson is somewhere inside. Lord Fowler, you sent Smithers ahead of you. You can see past the gate, which is now opening for you. The carriage is pulling in. As it pulls off to the side, the driver jumps off, runs down, steps down, opens the door. We're here, sirs, madam.
Now, I will, first of all, thank you. I think the best tactic we have here is that I will try and use, shall we say, the official route to have Sherlock released, while perhaps, Miss Flowers, you can look for other opportunities to make sure he's not being held here against his will.
Begging your pardon, your lordship, but Mr. Holmes, if he's in here, he probably knows what he's doing. You know, it's one of his like disguises. We don't want to interrupt him whilst he's working.
That's actually a very good point. Perhaps, Miss Flowers, you should determine whether or not he is working. Dr. Shaw, have you ever been here?
Yes, once or twice.
Perhaps you can lead the way and introduce me.
Yes, my lord, I can try, yes. I don't think they'll know me by my name, but I'll give it my best.
And as you walk in, this slightly unique band of individuals, these wooden doors swing open. You see a busy hospital environment. It seems bizarre because it seems busy, but you can't see much movement. In the immediate room you're in, most of the interior seems to be almost like a white tiled. It seems to be everywhere, this white tile. You can only surmise it's because it's easy to clean. You see a desk before you and a filing cabinet and a young woman sitting at the desk, and she's wearing white. She's got a white hat. It's all very familiar medical equipment, but the busyness seems to be coming from elsewhere. Two directions. You can see a staircase. You can hear screaming. You can hear growls. You can hear what appears to be the normal operating procedure of the Holloway Sanatorium. It is a sad-sounding place. People are clearly struggling with whatever situation they are in. It's haunting. The lady at the desk looks up.
Hello there. My name's Dr. Shaw. I'm fairly certain you'll know the person I'm travelling with, and I'll motion over at Lord Fowler.
Yeah, oh, your man you sent. Of course, Lord Fowler, please. She gets up. She kind of steps to. Of course. How may I help you, Lord Fowler?
I'm looking for a Mr. Holmes.
Oh,
Perhaps you should find the director.
yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. And she just kind of turns and she runs. She goes, and she's gone from the area. You are left alone for a moment.
Chelsea's going to immediately look over the desk and see if she can see anything from the entry log on the desk in front of them.
You can see from the entry log, yeah, you can see that there has been admittance. What's slightly confusing, or not confusing, but draws your attention, that you can see that a Mr. Sherlock Holmes was admitted by a Dr. John Watson, and he appears to be in, floor 2, room 21.
Begging your pardon, Lordship, but I think I might have found him. I mean, it's a bit strange. He's using his actual name. So, yeah, but hiding in plain sight, do you think, sir?
Could be, or it could be an actual mental break, Chelsea. The man's never been the most stable. Did you say he was admitted by Watson? Dr. Watson?
It's Dr. Watson, sir. Look, it says right here. Should we go up or should we wait for the missus to get back?
Why don't you go up and I'll make sure to distract the proper functionings of this sanitarium. Perhaps take Miss Wodehouse.
Miss Wodehouse, would you like to accompany me?
I should be very pleased to, Chelsea, although perhaps we should take a not too obvious route through the building. I would suggest someone of my profession could only upset the patients here.
Right you are. I thought, forgive me, Dr. Shaw, are you spare for a moment or two? Might you be able to point us in the right direction?
Well, yeah, so follow me. I know my way around here. And,
thank you.
Dr. Shaw, yeah, I'm going to say that you absolutely can. You can find second floor, room 21. You're on ward B. You know where you're going. And you're able to navigate the stairs, navigate the doors. You see a few rooms. I would say you see a few disturbed patients. And again, you can see the struggles that some of these patients are going through. And you can see the standard of treatment they're getting, which during this time is standard. Some people are being held down. Some people are being administered medication against their will. Some people are sitting in their room, drawing pictures, reading books, looking out of the window. So there's a range here, but you can't escape because of the white-tiled nature of this entire facility. Holloway Sanatorium is this white-tiled maze. So when someone screams, everybody hears it. And you do hear these screams. You notice a couple of people coming past you. In fact, who's got the lowest luck? Chelsea, Dr. Shaw, or Vesper Wodehouse? Chelsea, what's your luck?
65.
Dr. Shaw?
Gal.
50.
Vesper Wodehouse.
35. It's me. Sorry.
Give us a luck roll.
Luck roll. And you will be shocked to know that was a failure of 75 against 35.
Okay. So as you're walking down this corridor, you notice that on one side of the corridor, there's a couple of orderlies walking down. They're wearing all white, traditional aprons. They're walking down one side. Dr. Shaw's, leading the charge. He moves over to the right. Chelsea, you move with. Vesper, you move with. But there's almost someone that you didn't see that kind of like shoulders into you, Vesper, for a moment. That you didn't kind of see them coming. Can you give me a power roll?
I can indeed. That's another failure of 83 against 45. Vesper
Perfect.
in head-to-toe black silk is looking terribly out of place and possibly a bit strange in this all-white environment. And,
No, not at all. You bump into someone. You look completely out of place in this head-to-toe black environment. You turn around. There's no one there, Vesper. There's no one there.
I thought I saw... I'm sorry, sir, but where is he? I think I just bumped into an orderly.
I'm sorry, an orderly? Did I see anyone, Keeper?
Nope, you did not. Neither did Chelsea.
I didn't see anyone. Are you okay? Look, I know this place is rather shocking. If you're not used to it, the sights, the sounds. I assure you, it's all perfectly normal treatments that these people are getting. They're merely afflicted.
Excellent.
Of course. I would see patients like this after their suffering has ended, of course.
Within a moment, you find yourself at the door. And as you come around the corner and you see it, you can hear Watson's voice from inside this cell, essentially, this closed full metal cell door talking. And there's another voice in there that seems to be mumbling and bumbling away, but you can see, you can hear Watson's voice from inside. But just before we go there, Lord Fowler, you're down in reception. Can you give me a listen roll, please, Lord Fowler?
So, it's 60 versus 45. That's a failure.
Excellent. You notice there's two uniformed officers that walk past you at reception. They nod, they kind of tip their hat, and they're beginning to walk outside. The only words you hear in their kind of muffled, quiet conversation is absolute nightmare, Sherlock, blood everywhere, bodies. And the lady comes back with a smartly dressed individual who's wearing a very smartly dressed suit, which you would recognise the quality of it yourself, and then a white medical jacket on top. Oh, good day, sir. Apologies. Terribly sorry, Lord Fowler, to keep you waiting. Didn't realise you were going to be here so soon. Your man came and told us, but I believe he's outside with the horses. How may I help you, Lord Fowler? A tour, perhaps?
Perhaps. I'm more specifically interested in making sure that a friend of mine is being appropriately cared for, and making sure that he is not being subjected to any of the more gruesome aspects of healthcare.
Oh, absolutely. Any friend of yours is a friend of ours, shall we say? We look after each other, don't we? So, of course, who is your friend?
Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, why, of course. We will, of course, extend our absolute best care and make sure that the gentlest of medical procedures is presented.
Excellent. And of course, you need not worry about, but you can send any bills to the Fowler estate. Now, that tour. Show me where he's being kept.
Oh, very good, Lord Fowler. Please follow me. And he will walk you off. So we'll have you joining the others in a moment. Dr. Shaw, you're the first to arrive with Vesper and Chelsea behind you, but you see there is a gentleman, there is an orderly outside the room who's standing next to a police officer. The police officer steps forward. Excuse me, can I help?
Yes, I'm Dr. Shaw. I'm here to see the patient, he says officiously.
Right. What now?
Yes, now.
I mean, there's already a doctor in there.
Yes, I know. He sent for me. I'm here to give a second opinion.
Right. He looks at the young girl and the woman dressed in black.
These are friends and family of the patient. We are conducting a little bit of an experiment here. We'd like to see if seeing them helps improve the patient's condition.
Okay, Pete, what kind of a role is this for Dr. Elliot Shaw? This is something,
I don't know.
isn't it? Is it fast talk? Is it persuade? Are you bamboozling him with your medical knowledge?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's a bit of a bullshit role, isn't it, really? Let's
so.
go with...
AKA fast talk.
Let's go with persuade. I think
persuade, okay.
Persuade, he's going to do it quite... Yeah.
I was quite persuaded, so...
Oh, that's a 61 over 50. That's a fail.
You are allowed to push and or use luck. Well, not and or, but push or use luck.
Well, Mike's here, so we've always got to push the roll when Mike's here.
Mike does say always push the roll.
Always push the roll. I will. I'll do that. I guess Dr. Shaw will sort of try and explain a little bit, with a bit of psychobabble, what the treatment is and how it's going to, affect the patient and bring out a response, all that kind of stuff, and try and lay it on quite thick. Oh, and he just scrapes it with a 49 over 50.
Of course, sir, of course. Oi, oi, oi. And he kind of clicks his fingers at the orderly. Door, now. And the orderly kind of pulls this key out. You hear this gigantic click. The door opens. Dr. Shaw, you step into the room, and Chelsea, Vesper, you step into this, and it is just a square rectangle. It's not a huge room. It's quite small. What you see is a sight to behold. You see Watson. You see him... Well, Watson, what are you doing in this moment?
I'm observing Holmes and trying to... Well, I kind of need to know what Holmes is doing. Is Holmes quiet, talking, ranting, raving? That kind of will determine what I'm doing.
So, not necessary to lose any sanity right now, Scott. Can Holmes give us a sanity roll to give us a gauge of where he is in this moment?
Sure. Not well.
So please use that not well diagnosis to communicate to the rest of us what we see Sherlock doing and saying in this moment.
Watson, I don't know why you insist on talking to me when I have patently disappeared.
You haven't disappeared, Holmes. You're here with me.
That's what you say, but your powers of observation have never been the best, have they? You don't see the things that are there, and you're seeing things that are not.
Look, admittedly, yes, your powers of observation are more astute than mine. However, now let us get back to this child voice you keep hearing and this whispering. Now tell me more. What exactly has the voice been telling you?
Holmes, as you begin to talk to Watson in this and assure Chelsea and Vesper they see this moment, I'm going to ask you that as you're communicating this, for some reason you seem to be pointing and looking at certain areas of Watson's or Shaw's or Chelsea's or Vesper's biology. You seem to be looking at either their stomach or where their lungs would be, or focusing maybe up where the brain is. And as you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, this is a very obvious physical gesture that you're doing, Holmes.
Yes, yeah. Dr. Shaw, have you found the boy, or at least parts of him?
The boy, Mr. Holmes?
The boy, yes. You may need to replace some elements.
Replace some elements of a boy?
Yes, I imagine your lungs will be too large.
I'll glance over quite worryingly at Dr. Watson with both eyebrows raised.
I give you a look, and then it's Dr. Shaw. So I was pleased to see you, your companions. A dreadful set of affairs, I'm afraid. Holmes is not himself, I think would be the expression. We were brought to the SS Great Eastern to view a terrible scene of mutilation and death. Almost immediately, Holmes began to act somewhat strangely, more so than normal, I would add. And Vesper, hearing a child of which none of I or the police officer there as well could ascertain at all. We looked for a child, but there was not. But Holmes insisted on hearing a child and requiring us to find it. And then this matter has been most pressing on his mind ever since. And at times he has been repeating snatches of some sort of rhyme or some childish kind of rhyme that I've not really been able to fathom or piece together. But again, it seems that the sight of the murder scene somehow unhinged him, hopefully temporarily, and I should be working with Holmes to move him out of this establishment as quickly as possible, back to Baker Street for the best possible care. But in the meantime, seems to the scene was quite unusual in that there were seven bodies that had been mutilated and tortured and
My lord.
Translated into
seven bodies, but only one scarab.
Seven
bodies. As Holmes said, they'd been positioned in a tableau, if you will, in the likeness of a rudimentary scarab people. Them being the unfortunate people being Egyptian, the further kind of accentuate this, each had been held down before death and had been tattooed with a scarab beetle upon their chests prior to them being murdered, I would say around about midnight last night, from my calculation, that they were then twisted and bent in shape to form this rudimentary image of a beetle-like device.
Good Lord, I mean,
so succinctly put.
That's quite a lot to process. I mean, I know Mr. Holmes is used to some of the more gruesome sights in his investigations, but 7 mutilated bodies. I mean, that's just too much. Has he been under a lot of strain recently?
My dear Dr. Shaw, there will be a great many more soon once the river rises and the streets run red.
Vesper, as this conversation is happening, and as soon as Dr. Watson started talking about this tableau and this scarab, where you were bumped into in the corridor, from that exact point of physicality, whether it be your forearm, your elbow, you feel this tickling sensation, like something slowly, a series of little pinpricks moving up your arm and moving up onto your shoulder blade.
Vesper absently rubs her elbow and just sort of shifts her shoulder about a little bit. Something feels strange.
It does continue to feel strange. It almost moves to the center of your back, Vesper.
Vesper's back, of course, being the 1880s, is encased in several layers of whalebone and much, much corsetry and linens. But, she's... it would be unladylike to fidget too much, so she tries to hold herself relatively still.
Perfect.
Chelsea meekly asks Dr. Watson, "Pardon for interrupting, sir, but do you think Mr. H might have seen that ghost that was in the paper they reported? It said that a man disappeared into the fog. I read it in the paper on the tube I found. Do you think he saw a ghost?"
No, balderdash. That is the realms of fancy, and should take no heed to what is described in the popular press.
Sorry, sir. Of course, sir. Silly me, sir. Sorry.
And anyway, you don't need to worry about seeing him. You don't need to worry about seeing Mr. Whisper. You worry about listening to him. You worry about when he leans in and starts speaking in your ear. That's when you must show no fear. You must show no fear. I keep telling him, Watson, this. I keep telling him we must show no fear.
Well, indeed, Holmes. I fear that this visitation is somewhat taxing you, and perhaps it is time for some quiet and for you to maybe get some rest. It's been quite a day.
I've had quite enough rest, and London will soon be a charnel house. Roads red with blood, and you want me to rest. You
arrive on those words, Lord Fowler. I told you, he's absolutely fine. You see, he's absolutely fine.
I go and have a chat with the administrator and basically, give him some directions so that I will be back later. And in the meantime, I'm going to go back to Baker Street and fetch some things that I think might help Holmes, as in, his cap and slippers for a start, and whatnot.
His violin.
And maybe
not after earlier.
We'll see. But I'll explain to the administrator, and I'll explain that to the good people here, and say the one other thing I forgot to say. Now, Inspector Gregory of the Yard was the man who brought us into this, and you should certainly speak to him. He had some ridiculous story about of a man in a stovepipe top hat or something running from the boat. Well, transporting unbelievably from the boat to the quay in a matter of seconds. Clearly a case of mistaken identity or something, the police officer involved. But it was seemingly connected to this room when they first opened it. And I would impress upon you to sort of look into this and to see if you can... There is, in fact, a child involved, because Holmes is very adamant about this.
Yes, of course, you must tell the truth. Tell it well, or you'll go straight to hell.
Yes, so that's part of the thing. He said that a few times now. Now, he mentioned Whisper there.
Mr. Whisper, yes.
Mr. Whisper.
He wants your help.
Whether Mr. Whisper is an ally or not, I am unsure. But I don't think you will get much more value out of Holmes at this time, but maybe later. As I say, I must depart now, and I will endeavour to return later. But a good day, and Holmes, have a rest as I leave.
The director will kind of walk with you, and he says, of course, Dr. Watson, anything you say, we will make it the best possible care. And this, you can hear Watson and the director's voice trailing as they go down the corridor, and they leave you in this moment where Holmes is very much just looking wide-eyed at all of you investigators. Lord Fowler, the director has gone and just left you now in the room with the others. You can see that Holmes is absolutely not himself.
Yes. Richard Fowler has a look that he has developed over many, many years, which is sort of an unsympathetic expectation that others will deal with things for him. He has cultivated this look very, very well. It's sort of a learned incompetence thing. And so what he's going to do is he's going to look at Chelsea to say, no, wrong person. Look at Dr. Shaw, who's like getting a little bit like, and then his eyes are going to rest on Vesper. And he's going to just sort of raise an eyebrow at her as if to tell her to do something.
Vesper will give a very slight nod and maybe the merest suggestion of a curtsy, just a very slight dip. And she will walk over to Mr. Holmes and sit down next to him. Mr. Holmes.
Miss Wodehouse, have you found the boy?
I fear not, Mr. Holmes.
I fear he may need your assistance when you do, or at least what's left of him.
Mr. Holmes, do you remember sending me a package?
Yes, of course, yes. Oh, but there is so much more where that came from. My dear Miss Wodehouse, there is so much more flesh, so much more artifice, so much more creation. He tells us not to show fear. He tells us not to let him see his fear, but he shows us wonders like that. What else are we supposed to feel?
Holmes, you hear
Who tells us,
the
Mr.
rhyme
Holmes?
Now in the background.
Who tells you, Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Whisper the boy, I don't think they're one and the same, but I hear them both, and no one else seems to hear them, which is distressing. It's distressing because they are so terribly real. But everyone treats me like I'm mad, Miss Woodhouse. Everyone treats me like I'm mad.
I'm quite sure that you will be back to your full capacity soon, Mr. Holmes. You must have had a terrible shock, whatever has happened to you. But you know, Dr. Watson has only your best interest at heart, as do all of us here. Do you remember contacting the rest of us as well? Dr. Shaw and Miss Flowers and his lordship?
As you
Yes,
ask
of
that,
course.
Vesper, you feel something scurry up past the tight dress at your back of your neck and something bite into the back of your neck, and it's a sharp sting. What do you do, Vesper?
I'm so sorry, Mr. Holmes.
Miss
I don't
Wodehouse,
quite know what happened.
don't let him see your fear.
You hear in that last moment, Mr. Whisper, Mr. Whisper, Mr. Whisper speaks to you. Holmes, can you give me a psychology roll, please?
Sure. That's a regular success.
You can see in that moment that Vesper is hearing what you're hearing.
Miss Wodehouse, do not let him see your fear. In fact, don't let anyone see your fear. You see what showing your fear did for me. You do not want this to happen to you as well.
What should I be afraid of, Mr. Holmes?
Everything.
What was the voice? What was that, Mr.
You heard
Whisper.
him. Yes, you heard. Yes, he once he starts speaking to you, he never stops. He never
Who is
stops.
he, Mr. Holmes? Who or what? Or was that who I just saw in the corridor?
I wasn't in the corridor with you, Miss Wodehouse. But I think so. He does seem to be unconfined by the normal bounds of space.
The orderly comes in and knocks on the door that's open just to get your attention. Look, boss's orders. We got to wrap up. I'm sorry, Lord Fowler. Huge apologies, but we've been told we got to lock down for the night. Look, I'll give you 5 minutes.
If only you had the authority to rid me of all my visitors.
Yeah. No, they've all got to go, mate. They've all got to go.
I understand. Don't worry. I understand you're doing your job. Good, sir. Just give us a couple of more minutes and we will be out of your hair. Don't you worry about it.
Of course, sir. Of course.
Mr. Holmes, you had...
Lord Fowler, have you found the boy?
No.
Well,
You
what
didn't
are you
want me
doing
to
here,
find
then?
You wanted me to find a man, not a boy. I need to know more about the boy.
The boy, I know. He, I think he might be dead, but that doesn't mean you can't save him. I think. It depends. Can a boy live without a liver? Is that a question of medicine or philosophy? I'm sorry. I'm rather not in my right mind at the moment.
The boy on the ship.
I think the boy, much like Mr. Whisper, is not confined by mere architecture or engineering.
This is getting us nowhere. Dr. Shaw, have you any idea what is going on with him at all?
He sort of like takes Lord Fowler aside, doesn't want Holmes to hear this, and says, "Listen, it sounds like he's been through a shockingly terrible time. It could be a trauma. He's been. You said it yourself. He's not the most stable of people. He's been investigating crimes for a long time now. Maybe the pressure's got to him."
Whilst these two gentlemen go off to have their conversation, Chelsea's going to sidle up to Mr. H, take out a notepad and a pencil, and say, "I'm really sorry to disturb you, Mr. Holmes, but I bought my notepad and pen. You keep rattling on about this boy. What's he look like? Is he tall, small, scrawny, blonde, blue-eyed? You know, what are we looking for? I've written down, not got a liver. That might narrow it down a bit, but I need a few more details."
Oh, they did more than take his liver.
Right, okay.
So little of him left. It's not that there's nothing of him left. It's just that it's all distributed into 4 parcels, four collections of organs.
One boy disassembled.
Holmes, you take that pencil and you start. You take the pad and the pencil. You start drawing almost like really like ferociously and smudging it with your hand, and you're writing words and smudging and writing with your hands and really kind of going to town. What you're describing this boy, and you're talking about this dismemberment. Chelsea, Holmes is going to show you what he's drawn. Holmes is showing you the picture of a boy that he's drawn. It's what he thinks he's drawn. Could you describe what it is that you see?
So this boy that Holmes has drawn appears to be a large smiling mouth with what appears to be, if it was red, it would be blood pouring from this mouth and blood pouring from the eyes, and he's actually managed to write some text which says, "Mr. Whisper speaks to you, tells you what you need to do." Chelsea probably looks at the paper and goes, "Right, that's a good thing to go on, sir. Thank you very much."
Yes,
Thank
you must find him as a matter of the utmost urgency. Contact the rest of the irregulars if you have to. Get everyone you can to look for the boy. Look for him.
Right. Chelsea will turn to Miss Wodehouse and say, "Miss, I don't think Mr. Whisper's a musical act."
I got to lock up. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm going to get in trouble. Mr. Holmes, if you just move to the back of the cell, that would be great. That'd be really, really great. I do apologise, Lord Fowler. Would you mind stepping out with your friends?
Fowler does as requested and shakes his head. I'm just confused and I think disappointed. He sort of had this almost childlike thought that whatever else was in the world, Holmes was untouchable. Holmes was above it all. And to see one of the last beliefs he held dearly depart like that has left him depressed. And he's going to walk out of the sanatorium without another word.
Well, actually, I mean, as you're leaving the room, there's just one last word from Holmes, which might make the depression worse, which is, Lord Fowler, your position in life has been a great boon to you and to me sometimes in the assistance I've called upon from you, but I do not think that it is going to help you in this situation. In fact, I believe he is going to make you jump first.
And as you all hear that from Holmes, and he probably keeps muttering to himself, "Jump first, jump first," you are all going to need to give me a sanity roll. You've seen this pinnacle of mental stability broken into what we see here. So let's start with Vesper Wodehouse, please.
A very narrow pass of 43 against 44.
It is rattling. It is, to see a man of science, a man of logic, but you're able to hold yourself together. Chelsea Flowers.
That's an extreme success from Chelsea. I think Chelsea doesn't quite realise the seriousness of the situation. And that's probably a good comfort to her, not realising how ill Mr. Holmes actually is.
Fantastic. Lord Richard Fowler.
It's a critical success. I actually get more say.
Is it... Can I've got a little something, but if there's something you'd like to offer as to why, I would love to hear.
Yeah, I actually think Holmes is holding a secret of Fowler's. And while in good faith, there was complications involved that are one of the reasons why Fowler doesn't like being in London. And while he is depressed at this great person he loves falling ill, being locked up in a sanatorium means that secret is safe. And so the pragmatic bit of Fowler kicks in there too.
Absolutely. And Dr. Elliot Shaw.
Dr. Shaw didn't do as well. He got 100 over 79.
A critical failure, you might say.
A critical failure. I think as he's trying to reassure Lord Fowler that, Holmes is just cracked under the pressure, the person he's actually trying to reassure is himself, because he is absolutely shaken up by this. He's fearful of, the supernatural and the occult. He's fascinated and appalled by it in equal measure. And everything he's heard from Watson and Holmes has absolutely shook him up.
Could you give me a Constitution roll, please, Dr. Shaw? As you're on your way out, the four of you are walking very much through the maze. Shaw, you're possibly leading the way. You know the way. What was your Constitution roll, please?
It was a fail as well. It was 63 over 45.
There is a moment, Dr. Shaw, where you can feel your dinner returning at a sudden rate. Do you find the nearest doorway? Is this all over your shoes? Do you turn and face Chelsea Flowers? What do you do in this moment?
Oh, that's tempting. Is there a fire bucket or anything nearby?
Give me a luck roll.
Oh, okay. Chelsea, if this doesn't go too well, don't blame me. Oh, it's a 99 over 50.
Chelsea sees that the doctor is looking rather peaky, so she'll reach for a bedpan and hold it out for him.
Perfect. I think with a 99 failure, what unfortunately happens, Chelsea, is with your generosity, is that there's probably the first few milliliters that get into the bedpan, and the rest is sprayed up your arms and on the floor between you. Doctor?
Oh, I'm very sorry, Miss Flowers. I'm so sorry. It must be something I've eaten. I do apologise. And I'm trying to sort of mop her down as best I can with my bare hands.
It's quite all right, Doctor. These things happen. It happened to me.
And within a few moments of this horrific evacuation from your intestines, Dr. Elliot Shaw, you find yourselves walking out. The four of you are now walking out into the evening, the cool, cold evening. It's October. It is cold. Chelsea Flowers perhaps flicking her arms, trying to rid herself of the most, possibly picking up a towel on the way out, Chelsea. I'm sure that would have been on offer, and perhaps a keepsake. But as you walk outside, you can see that there is a shadowy figure standing by your carriage.
Coming out of the shadows towards you, shuffling more than walking, is a figure that at first you barely recognize as a human being. He is twisted, evidently in pain. He is wearing pajamas and the remnants of bloody bandages hanging off his limbs and torso as he staggers towards you, his bare feet leaving a trail of bloody footprints behind him. As he walks into the light of the street lights, you can see that his face and his exposed flesh is a bloody mess. His hands are bent and twisted, almost arthritic in the way they appear, and he's staring with wild madness in his eyes. When he catches sight of you, he kind of reaches out towards you, and you can hear him muttering something to himself, which as he gets closer, he clearly recognized you. Yes, Mr. Whispers speaks to you, tells you what you need to do. Yes, boy. Yes, I know. I see them. Yeah. And it's in your ear. Don't hurt him. See your fear. There you are. You hear him. Do you hear the boy? Yes, I know. I know.
Dr. Bainbridge, can you give me a power roll, please?
Of course.
Investigators, please feel free to jump in at any possible point that you want to.
That is a success.
Excellent. 57 over 70. In this moment, Dr. Bainbridge, you can see the boy, and when he talks back to you, it's as if he's talking with an older voice, but from the other side where the boy isn't. Whichever way the boy is, whenever you look, and he keeps moving around, the other voice is there. You hear the boy. Look, you've just got to just go through it. You'll be all right. Don't help them. Just keep saying it right.
I can't do it.
You can do it.
I know. Don't make me. Don't
I'm
make me.
fucking make you fucking do it, you piece of shit. You'll do it. Do
The
it.
truth. Tell it well, or you'll go straight to hell.
I think upon hearing this rhyme, Richard Fowler is going to step back. He is going to draw his cane up in a fencing pose. It looks just like a cane, but anyone who's particularly observant may notice that it is actually containing a sword. He's not drawn it yet, and he says, stay back now, identify yourself.
Fowler, Mr. Whisper wants your help. And Bainbridge starts clawing at himself, plucking at the skin that is peeling off his body, that's coming off in great kind of strips, almost like the bandages that are kind of falling to the floor. There's a pool of blood around him now, as he picks and pulls and peels at the skin on his chest, his arms, and his face.
Dr. Shaw would have to jump in here, and I think, disregarding class, he'd kind of like knock Fowler's cane down and say, "What's wrong with you? It's a sick man. It's Dr. Bainbridge," and he'd run over and try and stop the doctor from like clawing at his own skin, obviously having seen his affliction before.
I think Fowler particularly is completely unused to this and may need either a constitution or sand roll at the keeper's discretion to just handle such an ugly thing that he's just not used to.
Well, I think in a moment everyone's going to make a sand roll, but just before we do that, what I'd like is Dr. Elliot Shaw and Dr. Chrisopher Bainbridge to make a contested strength roll, please.
Oh, of course.
Not doing too well today. That's a 70 over 55.
It's a 67 over 50.
Dr. Elliot Shaw, it appears that you are having some impact, but you're not quite stopping Bainbridge from this task at hand that he is so committed to doing. And as you are getting covered in Bainbridge's blood, Dr. Shaw, I'd like you to lead the investigators in a sanity roll, please. So everybody make a sanity roll.
So I passed that one with 49 over 79.
Fantastic. And Chelsea Flowers?
62 versus 70. She's never seen a real-life mummy before. She's quite fascinated.
Okay. Well, this one is more living than the other ones you would have thought you'd read about or heard about. It's still bleeding. And Vesper Wodehouse.
Vesper is very shaken. 58 against 44.
Ooh, that is 1 point of sanity loss, please. Lord Richard Fowler.
97 over 50, which is not a fumble.
It's not. But with the increased level of loss there, I'm playing fast and loose here with the rules as I always like to do. That is 2 points of sanity loss, please.
I think that's pretty fair. I think Fowler has been fairly protected from such things. So this confrontation is probably messing him up far more than it is hitting the others who are probably a little bit more used to death and disease.
Perfect. Dr. Bainbridge, could I ask you to, deliver the message you've been sent to deliver?
As Shaw is kind of almost wrestling with Bainbridge, trying to help him, Bainbridge kind of places his hand on Shaw's cheek and just sort of wipes his bloody hand down his cheek. Shaw, he'll talk to you and make you his. And he plunges his hand, his fingernails and his fingers tearing through his skin and flesh into this deep wound he's making in his abdomen, and he pushes his other hand in with it, and he uses them to stretch and tear open his belly, and pushes his right hand in right up to the wrist and even further. and there's this kind of scream of agony as blood gouts out of his mouth, and he starts pulling out what first looks like a horrific string of sausages, but you realise it's his intestines that he is grabbing hand over hand, tearing them out of his opened belly, and he sinks down to his knees on the ground. There's blood gushing from his body now onto the floor in front of him, onto the ground in front of him, and he's pushing his hand even further up inside his chest. Blood is just pouring out of his mouth now. Mr. Whisper! Mr. Whisper! And you can tell he's ripping out some internal organ until he clutches what you think is at least part of his liver in his hand in front of you, as his eyes just kind of roll back in their sockets and he collapses to the ground in a broken heap.
Doctor, what should we do?
I mean, I like to think that, like, as he's doing that, Dr. Shaw would be doing everything he could to just keep his organs in his body. So he's kind of like trying to push back on these organs coming out as they're coming out. So he's probably really quite covered in blood and viscera at this point. So he'd probably just look back at Chelsea, mouth agape, and be like, I tried. I tried. I don't know. We need to get this man some help.
In that moment when you say get this man some help and the body drops to the floor, fists clenching, intestine and liver and whatever else, his eyes roll back, you can see that he is dead. And there's a moment of silence. In this cold October night, there's a moment of reprieve from the insanity that has crawled its way into your brains in this last hour. But then you hear the most horrific snapping sound as the dead body of Dr. Bainbridge reasserts its natural form. The left arm stretches out and snaps backwards. The right leg also turns in an inhuman manner and snaps forward, the knee now bending the other way. The other leg, the other arm, the head twists and turns and snaps and does so. The back cracks and arches, and you can see that this human remains seems to have been modelled on some insect-like shape. Vesper, you can't help but reach to the back of your neck. When you pull your hand forward, there are dots of blood on your hand. Dr. Shaw, can you give me a spot hidden? Being so close to this reformed version of Dr. Bainbridge, turns out alienism can change you. Dr. Shaw?
That's a critical success of a 1/45.
My word, Dr. Shaw, you finally redeemed yourself. In the right hand that was used to rip the intestines and liver from the body, you can see that it is clenched. But in this moment, when the body reforms, snapping itself into this much more beautiful state of unlife, you notice that the fingers as well snap, and face different directions, creating almost an insect-like a hand as well. And you can see in the viscera and gore of the intestine in the hand, there is a small silver key. Thank you for joining us for Act 3 of Mr. Whisper. Remember to visit us at www.miskatonicplayhouse.com, where you can also visit the main stage at the Miskatonic Playhouse for other productions, with links in the show notes below. Until next time, when the curtain rises again.